Hey guys, how's it going? So, yesterday the Grand Exchange poll was opened, and I wasn't really thinking of making a video about it, but I figured I probably should. You know, it's a very important issue, and I feel like I should express my own voice on the issue. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to preface this video by saying that, or asking a favor of everyone who watches this video, to not leave a like or a dislike until you listen to the entire video, because even if you support the G, you may not support what I say. If you don't support the G, you may support what I say, or you may not. Either way, I'm going to offer my own perspective. I'm going to offer my own opinions, and it's not just yes, it's not just no. So first of all, for anyone who doesn't know, the G is currently being polled, and as of making this video, it is at 74%, so it is failing, I believe, by about 1,200 votes currently. I've been tracking it on the rtorn.com page. I'll link that in the description. It shows how many votes it's failing by or passing by or whatever. So currently the Grand Exchange is failing, but it has a decent chance of passing, seeing as it's at 74%. So it's really up to the next week. The poll closes on Monday, the 19th of January. So by then we will know whether we will have the Grand Exchange in Old School RuneScape or not. So many of you guys have probably seen different things that I've posted in different places, comments in people's videos, posts on Twitter, stuff like that. And I do somewhat want to apologize for coming across maybe a little bit intense, harsh, rude. I don't really know what you want to call it, but I do have strong opinions, and that is just the truth. For anything that I really care about, I tend to have very strong opinions about it. And something that I try to work on with my personal growth, I guess you could say, is learning to express my opinions respectfully and learning to accept other people's opinions. And I think that video format is the best way for me to do that, because I have a lot of time to think about it beforehand, and it's not just sort of a spur of the moment reaction to what somebody else has said or done. So yeah, anyone who happened to have seen anything that I posted, nothing that I post is really just like fuck you, you suck, or anything like that. It's not unintelligent, but oftentimes it is very strongly opinionated, maybe a little bit harsh. So anyways, that being said, I'm going to get into the actual video now. So hopefully you guys haven't left a like or a dislike yet. I highly request that you don't do either until you finish watching the video. So first of all, what I want to say is that, you know, people who are saying vote yes for the G, they don't want to hear other people's opinions. And people are saying vote no for the G, they don't want to hear other people's opinions. And they just want people to vote what they want. And if they don't, then they have the tendency not to really want to listen. And what I want to say is that both opinions are valid. There are reasons that the G is good. There are the reasons that the G is bad. There are subjective opinions. There are objective facts. There are results that are pretty much guaranteed to come with the Grand Exchange. You can't really confirm it for sure, but we've seen it happen in the past, and it's likely things would likely turn out fairly similarly if the Grand Exchange was implemented exactly how it was back in 2007, I believe it was, when it originally was implemented. And obviously there were positive effects and there were negative effects. I completely understand why people want the Grand Exchange, and I also completely understand why people don't want the Grand Exchange. I personally do not want the Grand Exchange, and before a whole bunch of dislikes, I'm really not too worried about ratings in this video. I just want you guys to be honest, and I want you guys to be fair, and I want you guys to think about your opinion and what you really want before just making a rash decision. Most of you guys have probably already voted, but I just want to offer you guys my opinion. I don't want you guys to vote the same way that I do just because I make this video, and that's not the purpose of making this video. I just feel like I have a opinion that may be important to the subject, and I would like to share it with you guys. So obviously the way that trading is currently is not ideal. I personally am of the mindset that I would be happy if the trading post was never added, and if the game just continued exactly how it was. I would be perfectly happy. I would be fine. You know, I would just get through my buyables, and then I'd be done with those and probably wouldn't worry about them too much after 99. That being said, it would be nice to have a better system for trading, and if a system were to come in place that I really liked, then I would definitely support it. And I think that there is definitely an opportunity to implement a really good system. And my concern with the Grand Exchange is that it has a number of flaws. So I think the most important problems with the Grand Exchange are offline trading and automated trading. I think are both not great for the game. They're not really in the spirit of the game. Being able to make progress within the game in the form of selling, buying items, making money while you're not even online, I don't really think is a good game mechanic. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I mean, it's even worse than game mechanics that allow you to leave your computer completely for 6 hours and still be playing the game. I mean, it doesn't really make too much sense to be able to be progressing the game while you're not actually playing it. And that's not really how RuneScape has ever worked, and when it does work that way, it generally is poorly received by many players. So that's my opinion on, automated trading, offline trading. That's one of the things that I dislike the most about the Grand Exchange. And also, price manipulation was a huge issue throughout the years with the Grand Exchange, both when there was trade restrictions and when there were not. Merching clans, or if you want to call them merching, really just price manipulation clans, would just get together, and really it was just the higher ups in the clans that would actually profit, because they would buy up a whole bulk of an item and then tell everyone in their clan to start buying it up, and the prices would skyrocket, and then the leaders of the clan would sell right before they told the rest of the clan to sell, and then by the time most of the clan had sold, most of the clan hadn't really made any profit, and it just sent a huge spike into the market and completely mess things up. And it would be really unfortunate to see that in old school. That's never really happened with anything. The only major changes in market prices have generally come with updates, which is to be expected and can't really be avoided. So price manipulation is a serious concern with the Grand Exchange, and I believe that it would happen regardless of whether there were trade restrictions or not. Another concern is just the fact that the entire market will change a massive amount with the Grand Exchange being implemented. Generally, my expectation is that profit margins will grow slimmer. If you notice how you still profit with things like cooking and fletching in the current game, that probably wouldn't be the case if Grand Exchange was implemented, because those price margins will be greatly diminished by the volume of people trying to merchant those items. Because with the Grand Exchange, there are a lot more people trying to merchant because it takes a lot less effort. So you're not going to profit off of 99 cooking most likely anymore. You're most likely not going to profit off of 99 fletching. You're most likely going to be spending a lot more money on things like crafting and herb lore and smithing. And that's generally not a good thing. Now, on the other side, people will argue that it makes it a lot easier to purchase the items, and the time saved probably outweighs the extra cost. And that may or may not be true. I don't really know exactly. It's hard to really quantify the amount of time it takes to, say, complete all the trades that you currently need to trade for 99 herb lore. It's very varied. I completed one trade where I bought like 18k herbs and like 16k potion unfinished, which very, very rarely happens, and that's practically half of 99 herb lore right there. And most of the time you're going to be completing trades with several hundred herbs most of the time, so hundreds and hundreds of trades end up adding up to a lot of time, and that is kind of frustrating and it's kind of annoying. And the same thing happens with farming, especially farming and herb lore are definitely the most standout annoying skills to bank, because there's just so much trading involved, and I would definitely like to see that be changed. So those are the main issues that I have with the Grand Exchange. Is I don't think offline trading is a fair game mechanic. I think that the market will go crazy, especially when it's first implemented, and I'm concerned about price manipulation. That being said, the Grand Exchange does have a lot of positive aspects. The ease of use is just awesome. It's amazing to be able to just go to a place, type in an item, plus 5% it by about 100 clicks, and just get the item immediately. It's nice to be able to do that, especially if you're doing quests or you need some odd item that is never really sold in game, because there isn't a huge market for it, but you need it at some point for a quest or for some random little thing. So that's awesome, and it would be really nice to have some kind of system to be able to do that. I think that there are many options besides the Grand Exchange, or a modified Grand Exchange that doesn't fit all of the criteria that would make it game changing. Or not, I don't mean to say it would obviously be game changing, any trade solution. I mean say negatively affecting the game. So Um, there are definitely positive things about Grain Exchange, speeding up trading, and it does allow for easy merchanting, which is a good and a bad thing at the same time. I mean, if GE was implemented, I would probably immediately start GE merching because prices will be going up and, profit margins will be worsening. Most likely all of my buyables will be a lot more expensive if the Grain Exchange is implemented, so I'll have to adapt. And I would start GE merching right away. And GE merching is very simple, it's very easy. More advanced merching is more complicated, but there are a lot of items where you just buy a huge bulk of an item, profit margins maybe 1 or 2 GP, buy like a million of a certain rune, and each time you flip all of your stock you make 1 million GP. It's fairly simple. You can do other skilling while you do it, and it's not too complicated. I used to do that a little bit in the past. I didn't really enjoy it that much, so I stopped doing it after a certain point, but I basically know how very basic GE merching works. I'm not an expert at it or anything, but I know that many people did it, and there are far fewer people who merch significantly on old school currently than there would be if a Grand Exchange was implemented. I don't think you can really argue with that, because you basically will have to be as efficient as you possibly can be. So yes, GE has many positive things, and there definitely is room in the game for a solution, a change to trading. And what I want to propose is a different option. And who knows if Jagex will see this, who knows what other people will think of this, but I think that this is the best possible solution to the trading issue. It will solve all of the problems that we currently have with trading, and it will also balance out all of the problems that would exist if the GE were to be implemented. I guess I shouldn't say all, because nothing's really perfect. There are always flaws, and that's sort of just something you have to accept. But I think that it minimizes the flaws in the Grain Exchange, really. So what I propose is that we keep the trading post, we make it a lot better. And there are a number of different things that we can do to make the trading post significantly better than it currently is. Currently the trading post is basically just a not as useful in-game version of Zybez, and pretty much every one of you have probably used Zybez before. It's very useful, and old school would be a lot more annoying if Zybez didn't exist. That's pretty much true. I use Zybez for basically all of my trading, and I'm glad that it exists. So the first thing that they should do to the trading post is allow buying and selling offers. And having just sell offers, only represents half of the market, and it just isn't really how the market works. With the Grain Exchange, you can offer buying and selling. When you're going to World 1, you can buy and you can sell. You can't just be typing selling offers and only have people coming to you. It's just not really how it works, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense to the economy. So the next thing I think that would be basically a necessity to make the trading post actually useful is if you're able to complete trades through the post. Now, there's 2 options that come with this, both of which I think would be excellent, and both of which I think would solve the issue. I don't really have too much of a preference, but both of them would be really good. The first is to be able to just complete trades directly through the post. So you search an offer, you find it, and you right click on it and select buy or sell to complete the offer. You put in your items or your money, and the system gives you the items or money that were offered by the player who posted the offer, and vice versa. If you post an offer, then you will just be receiving coins or the item that you are buying, and have a collection box or something like that with the trading post to access it through the bank or something like that. I think that would be great, and the reason that that's different from Grain Exchange is because it's not automated. You still have to go to the offer, you still have to find it, you still have to actually complete the trade. And so you can't do that when you're offline. You have to actually exert some effort to complete trades, and it's not just happening while you're skilling. I mean, I guess if you have an offer running and other people are completing it, then it is happening while you're skilling. But at the same time, if there's a higher majority of people selling/buying, then you will have to exert the effort to complete the trade on the other side of it, if that makes any sense. And that's basically how the economy works currently. It would make it so that trading still was a certain amount of effort, and at the same time would make it so you could actually purchase items, because if you have something like, say, a gout tuber or just some random item that everyone needs at some point in their RuneScape career, but isn't really worth selling on a large scale because it's just not that many people are really going to be needing it, just, one per person every so often. So you just get 10 gout tubers, put them in the trading post, and gradually people will buy those, and people who need gout tubers will go to the trading post and say, thank God there's somebody selling a gout tuber, and they'll be able to buy it. And that will happen for basically any random, hardly ever used item, because it'll just be a lot simpler, and people won't have to be standing, constantly refreshing their offer on Zybez. It'll just be there whenever they're online until the trade is completely done, and you can just constantly have a stock running, and it's worth the time for the people that are selling them, and it saves a lot of time for the people that are buying them, and vice versa. So this would solve the issue of the frustration of trading, the difficulty of constantly searching for items that are really hard to find and completing trades. Somebody comes to you with 5 Snapdragons and you're like, Jesus Christ, I posted 100 plus on Zybez, listen to my offer. People, you just post your offer and wait for people to complete the trade. They can sell however many they want directly through the post. It would be simple and more efficient, and you won't have to open the trade screen hundreds of times. And I think that would solve most of the qualms or whatever the word is that people have with the current trading system. And at the same time, it would be very hard to manipulate prices because I guess one person could go through and just buy up all the items, but it's not the same as just putting in a long-term offer. Like, the person has to be online where they're buying up the items. A person can't physically be on 24 hours a day unless they're account sharing, and if they're account sharing, they should be banned anyways. So they can't just be constantly sitting at the trading post and buying up every single one of these items. Eventually, the items have to go to other people when this person isn't active, and that's how it should be, and that's how it currently is, and that helps to keep prices more stable and prevents price manipulation. And that's very, very important. And previously I mentioned that the other option that I've talked about a little bit in previous, streams, videos, something, I can't remember exactly, but I know I've talked about it, is just being able to open the trade screen remotely. And even this would significantly improve trading on Old School. Being able to, you search somebody, find them on the trading post, and just right click on the offer and hit trade with. And it'll just open, it'll send a trade request to the person regardless of where they are in the game. It would be nice if we could do it cross-world, but Ash has said that it probably would be impossible to do it cross-world, but that's another thing they said, is they could just implement a quick hop feature, get quick hop to the person, then just send them a trade request. You might be in VeraQuest, they might be in, Lunar Isle Bank or some random location. It'd be nice if you can even complete trades not at banks at all, and I think that would really make the trading situation a lot easier. But you still would have some of the annoying trades coming in and might get spam traded more frequently. So I think that would have more flaws. I think the most ideal system would be to be able to complete trades directly through it, but at the same time, still using the trade screen would be a little bit more old school style, and you'd be able to see who you're trading with. So say you hate a stupid kid named Aubrey, and you see Aubrey is traded with you, you can be like, fuck this kid, and decline or something. So both of those, I think, it would be great options. I personally probably would prefer being able to have offers completed through the post, but not completely automated trading, because I think that's just too far. So why is this better than the Grand Exchange? First of all, it's basically just a better in-game Zybez, so we can be pretty sure that the market isn't going to go crazy. Maybe prices will shift a little bit, but it's not going to be crazy because it's basically Zybez on steroids. And we're used to Zybez, it's familiar ground, and we pretty much know what to expect. It maintains the old school feeling. That's not, like, whenever people say, it's not in the spirit of Old School, it doesn't feel like Old School, it's kind of a loosey-goosey argument. It's hard to really, define. I know exactly what people mean when they say that, and I try to avoid saying it just because it doesn't really have any substance to it, but it is kind of true. At least in my opinion, the Grand Exchange just doesn't feel Old School, and I kind of wanted to avoid saying that, but I don't know. Some people probably understand that, maybe some people don't. So another advantage, obviously, price manipulation basically won't happen as far as I can tell. You can't really be positive, but it seems pretty likely that this won't happen. But it might be a good idea for them to implement, buying, selling limits like there are on the Grand Exchange, just to be more safe with that. Because it might be possible if somebody really, really puts in the effort, but it'll be a lot more effort, that's the thing. So that will put off a lot of the people who are trying to do that. And it will prevent offline trading, which I personally just think isn't a proper game mechanic and shouldn't really be a part of the game. and is just kind of unbalanced in every way, really. You know, it's basically like infinite efficiency to be making progress in the game while you're not actually putting any time into the game, which just doesn't really make too much sense, in my opinion. So that's really everything that I plan to say in this video. It has gone on quite long, so I highly respect you if you have listened to this video to this point, especially if you are of the opinion that Grain Exchange should be added and you already voted yes or something. So I really hope that anyone who has made it this far does not feel like I'm trying to push you a certain way. Really, this is just my opinion. Go vote whatever you want to vote, and go ahead and drop a dislike if you really disagree with me. I really encourage you to drop a comment as well saying why. You know, provide your argument, argue with me, give your own opinion. I would love to hear it, and I would love to get a good debate going in the comments. Please be mature. That's all I really request of you guys. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it a lot, and hopefully this goes over well. I'm trying to be as respectful as I can be of both sides, really, and I really do understand. Like, I totally get it. If Grain Exchange comes, I'm not going to quit or anything. I've thought about it, but I'm really not. You know, I'll learn to deal with the Grain Exchange. I'll adapt. It's fine. But at the same time, I just think that the Grain Exchange isn't the best option. I think that we can take the feeling of the Grain Exchange and turn it into something better. Because that's what old school does, really, is we take things that have been in the game in the past, we look at how they affected the game, we pull it, we crowdsource it, and we find ways to take those similar mechanics but make it better. And I think that's what's so awesome about old school, is that we have seen everything happen before, and we can just have a more wise perspective on it, I guess. And I really think that with the Grain Exchange, go ahead and call it the Grain Exchange even. I don't really care that much. I just think there are a few things with it that are definitely clear, blatant issues that could definitely use a resolution, more balancing, and yeah. So that's my opinion. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I encourage you guys to leave a like if you really agree with me, and give your own point of view. Leave a dislike if you really disagree with me, and leave your own point of view in the comments. That's the most important part, really. And most of all, thank you very much for listening through this whole video. I'll see you guys soon with more stuff. More stuff. That sounds like such a terrible word. More videos, more content, more progress, more gains. Woodcutting.